Let's freaking go. Huh? Boom. What is going on, ladies and Gentiles? On a glorious LSU basketball victory day. We'll talk about that in just a second, but obviously we are LSU football 24/7, 365. I'm feeling wonderful about the future of this program. Wonderful. And I know it's all about what Texas A&M has done in their recruiting class, and it's all about, Georgia just won their national championship, and Alabama is still Alabama, and Arkansas has something good going on with Sam Pittman. And let's be honest, Ole Miss, outside of LSU, has been, one of the biggest winners of the transfer portal. I understand. A lot of programs right now, not named Auburn, should feel good about their livelihoods right now. A lot of them. But the bottom line, okay, the bottom line is this. I'm just excited to be here with you tonight. And I was excited as you know what to see Brian Kelly speaking to our guys. Feeling good tonight. Watching Mike Jones at NYS had me pumped. Yeah, I caught a bit of that a little bit earlier. It's really cool stuff. Shout out to Blake. That's a really cool thing. Rob, what's good? Let's go. Kurt is going on his evening walk tonight. There you go. Let's go. Obviously, Jayden Daniels is still the top topic. It's pretty funny how, what's crazy is sometimes the videos that don't perform well as far as like views. So like I get YouTube analytics are the videos I get the most positive feedback on. And yesterday, I didn't get a lot of views on my interception piece on Jayden Daniels. I just didn't. But I got a lot of comments and I got a lot of, emails from people saying that they really enjoyed it. So yesterday we went through each and every one of Jayden Daniels' 10 interceptions last year. And I think it is a myth that he has an interception problem. The more that I thought about it, the more it kind of makes sense. And I'm not excusing the young man's turnover issues because of his 10 interceptions, 7 of them were his fault. But sometimes in life, it's about what surrounds you more than it is just about you. It's like that probably with 99% of what you do. It is a myth that you, wherever you're listening, wherever you are right now, it is a myth out there that you are someone that controls their own destiny. For the most part, you kind of do, but sometimes it is just a matter of who's around you. And I thought last year, Arizona State shot themselves in the foot more than any other program, and they wasted a pretty golden opportunity to get to a 10-win program in the Pac-12. They legit choked away more wins, I think, than any other program in college football last year. And they would be the first to tell you. They were, Herm had a really good squad. It's just, they were just unbuttoned, and I feel as if Jayden Daniels coming over to LSU, where Brian Kelly, the one thing that he does get credit for more than anything else is that he runs a pretty button-up program, right? His teams play really disciplined, smart football. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. How many times has Notre Dame lost a game over the past couple of years and the other team didn't just go out there and beat them, right? When they lose to more often than not better teams. And I felt rewatching all of Arizona State's games from last year, just, I didn't watch every single play, but I watched a good portion of quite a bit of their season. They should have been a 9 or 10 win team at least, right? They choked away some really, really, really good wins. It's a matter of who's around you, which is why I surround myself with the best awesome PHL peeps. Oh, Danny, that's so great. And I did order more shirts. We are close to selling out pretty much all sizes. We still have pretty much every size. So if you do want one, check out the bottom scroll. And Yeah, so we gave out this Ali Broussard card. Still waiting on the person that bought it, their shirt size to come in. Let's see, what card do we want to give out tonight? Let's give out a Odell Beckham right here. Let's do this right here. Okay, we'll give out Odell Beckham card tonight. We'll just give this one out. And we've been trying to give away Leonard Fournette cards. Normally do pretty well. Kind of shocked that this is our best one that we've given out. This has been Leonard Fournette has worn this jersey right here. If you get 2 shirts, I'm throwing this Leonard Fournette card in there. Okay. So there you go. Let's go to Landon J38. Let's welcome in Kyle. Let's welcome in Jared. Jared's one of our top PHLers. Z wears 18 cup. 18 cup. Oh. No, you're gonna see the cup. Guys, you won't believe what Chris did for me, right? Chris just made me like one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. I'm dead serious, and you're gonna see it here in just a second. I do not look good in this high def, right? You see my monobrow, you see like every gray hair on my head. I don't know if I like it. I know Haley doesn't like it. She's like, you know what? I don't want anyone to see all of your beauty. She never said that. I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Marcus, what's good? So here's what's really funny. So Marcus sent a comment earlier tonight, and he is also a Team AYS member. Shout out to Blake. And he also watches our show. And this is, what I would say about Marcus, okay? So Marcus wrote that he's normally not able to hang out here for live streams because he is a truck driver. He's not able to comment. He's able to watch. And what's really fascinating, okay, is I'm not people, and Jared can attest to this because he's been with us for quite some time, as has Leonard. You guys have heard me bring this up. Marcus is a truck driver, and you guys know the one profession in life that fascinates me the most are truck drivers. Okay. I am so fascinated with the lives that they live and all the traveling they get to do and how brutal that job can be. Bad knees, bad backs, high blood pressure, high stress, timeliness, earliness, gas station showers, the whole 9 yards. It is pretty freaking ridiculous. Like, I think truck driving is one of the most talented jobs you have to have in our society. I don't think anyone could do it either. I really don't. It's one of those mainstream jobs, kind of like teaching, where a lot of people think that they could possibly do it, but they could do it for a week and they're like, what the freak did I do with my life? Right? I just think being a truck driver is like one of the hardest things to do on the planet. So enough about my truck driving diatribes here. And obviously, the comment and the title of the video is about the quarterback position. MYLES BRENNAN, GARRETT NUSSMEIER, and Jayden Daniels. It's still the top story surrounding this football program. Going into next week, we're going to start talking more about depth charts, how we view the depth chart going into next year. And then later on this offseason, we are working on more projects, potentially getting a student athlete on this stream. We are working right now. I'm working with someone right now to get a pretty high profile athlete on the stream from our dear beloved LSU Tigers. So hopefully that actually happens and we're able to get it done. And, obviously Blake's Mike Jones interviews are just fantastic. I remember when, it was a month before he called me and he was like, Carter, I might be getting them. And I was like, dude, that is so cool. And obviously, Mike Jones is like one of the most interesting athletes out there. I agree with this. Truck drivers are highly underrated, super important job that not everyone can do. Yeah. So we don't have another toilet paper shortage. It's pretty crazy, right? Like, how tough this job is. You know what? I actually disagree with this from SMP. I think he tweeted me earlier as well. All the speculation will be solved at the end of spring practice. I actually disagree with that. I don't think anything's going to be done until the fall, right? I think even though we're as excited as we are about spring practice, and we do a lot of spring practice content because we freaking love this team so much, I still think there's going to be a rotating door of this guy's going to start and this guy's going to be the breaking star. Obviously, some will sort itself out in the spring, and guys that thought of themselves as second stringers will become fourth stringers and they'll transfer. As far as like your deeper depth will get sorted out. But as far as what your roster actually looks like, some of that will get sorted out, but not all of it. So good to see you again, SNL SMP. Let's go to Jared, our first super chat. And indeed, Jared is our first super chatter, but King Robert also super chatted right before the live stream. He is currently watching in the background. Shout out to you, King Roberto. Roberto. Let's see. I think he just texted me a minute ago. You guys know King Robert fighting that evil sea. We're right there with you, my brother. We're all one big PHL fam. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate you. Let's see here. I want to go through a few things I had written down for tonight. I want to bring this up really quickly. I want you guys to give me a simple why or no in the chat right now. How many of you feel like at this second right now, how many of you feel LSU's SEC West quarterback room is a top 3 quarterback room right now? Okay. Type Y for yes, type in for no. In the SEC West, do you think LSU has a top 3 quarterback room or a top 3 quarterback situation right now in the SEC West? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Because that is, our poll question tonight. Jared says yes. Tommy says nope. Kyle says nope. Luis says yes. S&P says yes. Blanche, no. Rob, thank you for all your super chats, man. Chris, Haley's actually going to grab the cup here in just a second. She is currently making me a concoction inside of that cup. No, yes. Leonard, your Jamarcus Russell autograph card is in the mail. Thank you for your support, my friend. Yes and yes. So right now, I would say no. I would. Obviously, Bryce Young. So Bryce Young's number 1, right? And Alabama's got Ty Simpson. He's probably going to be their top backup, and they still have the kid from Texas. So Alabama's number 1. Now, as far as the SEC West is concerned, obviously, I would say Auburn's room is the worst. I would take our room over Texas A&M's room right now. I don't believe in Texas A&M's room at all right now. Okay. So then that leaves you with Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Arkansas, right? So I'm a KJ Jefferson believer at Arkansas. I think he's really good. I didn't believe it. I did not think he was going to be what he was last year. And I know a lot of people will say, well, and Danny's a KJ Jefferson believer as well. A lot of people will say, well, KJ, he's got a really good play caller and he had Traylon Burks. But you go actually look at his numbers, it was really good. 6 games of 75 QBR or more. You can't just sneak into 6 games of 75 QBR or more. That means you are doing something pretty special. And 75 is a really, really good QBR. So KJ's really good. So I would take KJ over what we have right now. And Arkansas does have a really good backup in Malik Hornsby. Now, I don't know how well he can throw, but I can objectively say he is the fastest quarterback in the SEC. So they got a pretty deadly duo, and I would probably take Arkansas's room right now. Now, Will Rogers is someone I'm torn on, right? He's a quarterback that is perfect for a Mike Leach offense. Mike Leach wants a pocket quarterback that can get the ball vertical. Also thought Mississippi State's wide receivers were very underrated last year. They're really good. Malik Keith and those guys were really good players. Mekhi Polk and that room. I'm actually going to take LSU's room over Will Rogers. Yes, Will Rogers put up some really good numbers, right? But, I not on fire about him. Obviously, he had 2 really bad home games last year, one against us and one against Alabama. So I like Will Rogers. I I'm leaning towards Jayden Daniels and Myles Brennan over Will Rogers. And I know that doesn't make any sense because Will Rogers led the SEC in passing yards last year, I believe, or he was second. Either one, um, he's a really solid quarterback. So, I have Alabama 1, I have Arkansas 2, and then at number 3, man, Ole Miss is, man, I don't know how I feel about Jackson Dart. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Jackson Dart. I'm fine with it. I like that they got Zach Evans. I mean, that's obviously really good for them. But I'm not totally on the Jackson Dart train. Now, obviously, a Lane Kiffin offense will make a quarterback look a lot better than what they are. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So I'll go with this. I'll go Bryce Young 1, KJ Jefferson number 2, and at number 3, Will Rogers and what LSU has returning, and then at number 4, I'll go Jackson Dart. We'll see. So AU has a Heisman candidate, TJ Finley. So that's the poll question right now. Let's check the official poll results. LSU, a top 3 room. There is 11% of you that say, no, they are number 6 or number 7. I don't know how you could take Auburn's quarterback room and not put them 7th, right? There you go. So we got another trucker to be. Andrew, what's good? Good to see you. What's up, Blanche? Good to have Blanche in the live streams. Blanche didn't like that, we come on at 8. Blanche is an early sleeper. So let me ask you guys this. We got 65 of you in. Got a big basketball game tomorrow. But obviously we're sticking with the football. Would you guys like me to start the live stream potentially at 6 or 7 every now and then? Because I know some of you can't stay up too late. Some of you are on the East Coast. Some of you are all the way in Europe watching us right now. So if you guys want that, once again, my email, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. You can also tweet me if that makes sense to you. Revenge game tomorrow. Look at Mick showing Andrew some love. Gotta love it, baby. All positivity here to all the PHLers. Kurt says all unproven QBs over Will Rogers. That's a funny thing about it, Kurt, is yeah, Tommy, I'm talking to Yusha pretty often. I won't get too deep into his personal situation. For those that don't know, Yusha is our Ukrainian PHLer. He's doing fine, as good as he could be right now. I can say though that his parents are in the States, which are really good. But yeah, it's crazy. Whenever you do YouTube, you can look at your analytics, and obviously most of the people that watch a channel are in the southeast part of the United States. But as you guys have seen, we got viewers in Turkey, we got viewers in Ukraine, we got viewers all over the place. So that is nice, Tommy, that you did, ask about Yusha, and that does mean a lot to him. And I'll happily, share that information. What are the chances Carter would come to town for an LSU baseball tailgate this season? Big J needs some Carter in his life. Here's my thing about this Urban Sombrero. Obviously, every time you and I get to hang out, it's always a great thing. And look, we had a good time at Pluckers. When was this? This was roughly a year ago now. And yeah, man, I appreciate your friendship, going all the way back to when we were at LSU. It's kind of crazy how we became better friends, after, our LSU careers were over. I'm down. Now, here's the thing. All right, Danny knows me as well as anyone in here. Not a big baseball guy, okay? But first thing, and I'm going to be very brief about this, I am really happy MLB is back. I know MLB is very important for a lot of people, okay? I also like that they're changing up their schedule just a little bit to balance things out where teams aren't playing each other 20 times a year. And now with the new schedule, Major League Baseball teams will visit every ballpark every year, which is really good, right? Because, if you live in the West Coast, growing up, yeah, I didn't live on the West Coast, but let's just say there's someone on the West Coast and they're a diehard Derek Jeter fan. You're guaranteed that the Yankees are going to be in town for at least one weekend. But, as far as LSU baseball is concerned, I could not name 5 players on the team. Now, it's not me disrespecting LSU baseball. It's just I don't know enough about it, right? Uh, the last team, I could name, like, basically everyone on the roster was the '09 championship team. And I went to Omaha, not with the team, but I covered the team there. And yeah, I just haven't been to Alec Box and probably since then, honestly. Uh, I do like SEC baseball's getting bigger. Shout out to Ben Mintz, my good friend, Barstool Mincy. He's doing a really good job helping grow that game. I like college baseball overall is getting more respect around the country. I like college baseball way more than I like pro baseball, especially since Jeter and Rivera retired. Those are my 2 guys. And yeah, as far as the baseball tailgate, I don't think I've ever been to a baseball tailgate. Does baseball tailgating actually get pretty lit? I would love it to. I think that would be great for the sport. A good time to be had. Well, I'll give it hey, and we'll see if we can make it down. Ron hadn't even commented. He said, "Go Braves!" Danny likes the 8 p.m. start. Mets. Let's go to Leonard right here. Back to LSU football here. Why isn't anyone talking about the possibility of Coach Kelly playing both Myles and Jayden? He played 3 quarterbacks in 2021 at Notre Dame and 2 quarterbacks before. That is true. So, you go back to early Notre Dame where they did have that rotating door at quarterback, right? Where, it would be Malik Zaire and it would be Everett Golson and it would all those different names, right? I think that was more out of necessity though than actual, assets. So like, look, when we think of a 2 quarterback system, you know, you think of like Matt Flynn and Ryan Perrilloux, or you think of, one's a good quarterback, more experience, and then the runner is the younger change of pace guy. Chris Leak, Tim Tebow, so on and so on, right? So yeah, you do begin to say, look, if Myles Brennan starts and we have Jayden Daniels as a change of pace guy, that could provide a lot for our offense next year. Very well could happen. Very well could happen. So we'll see. Also, something else about a 2 quarterback system is that would keep both of them more involved with what LSU wants to do, which is obviously keep both of them on the roster for the entire season. So we'll see. Michigan did indeed run a 2 quarterback system. And welcome. I am Jack to the live stream. Tebow and Leak, exactly. That was probably like one of the better 2 quarterback systems. But honestly, Flynn and Perrilloux was really flawless as well. And, well, Georgia, not quite. They played 2 different quarterbacks, but it was mostly Bennett. And Tyler is still a Garrett Nussmeier believer, and that's fine. Look, once again, I'll go through the list of things I like about Garrett Nussmeier. Obviously, a great football family, but, most importantly, A lot of quarterbacks come from great football families, right? Uh, Walker Howard, there's so many quarterbacks out there that had parents that played the position or were involved with football in some way or somehow, right? So, the first thing I'll say about Nuss is, once again, highest completion percentage of any senior high school quarterback to ever come to LSU, which is it's really good, right? He played at an extremely high level at an extremely difficult level of football in Texas. He had one Division I wide receiver, which helped out, but he was really good. It was a really dominant high school player, right? So the bottom line is I want to see you dominate. That is a big thing for me. Do you dominate high school competition? Right? I feel if you are a 4-star recruit or better, I need to see you dominate. Where, if I look up your stats, I see over 200 passing yards per game, 50 rushing yards per game at least. Or if you're just a pocket guy, 250 yards a game. So, I like Garrett Nussmeier when it comes to that. Also, I like Garrett Nussmeier. His intangibles are actually really good. You see him all the time on the sideline, very involved in the game. If someone messes up, he's the first person to go over there and pat them on the back, pat them on the head. And he's a good teammate, right? Except when it comes to actually being the backup quarterback. And look, how far you want to go with how bad that bothered you is totally up to you. You guys know how I feel about it. I felt as if it would have been better for him to actually just go out there and just play. Just play. You work your whole life to get to this point. Just play. Even if you're not ready, play. Because you're never guaranteed that opportunity again. I also think now that he has 4 years to play 4 years, I don't know if you could just redshirt back-to-back years. I don't know if you can just not play and you still have 4 years of eligibility left. I don't know exactly how that works, but we'll see. Let's see. Cumby. Welcome, Cumby. I love it. I'm glad I bullied Cumby into putting an actual photo of himself up there. That makes the chat so much funner when I actually get to see all your beautiful faces. I'm looking at you, Reed. My goal is to bully Reed into an actual photo. Sub Sib G. Sib G is not a 2 quarterback system fan. They don't work because they don't bring in the second guy. He only has a certain amount of plays, and the defense knows that. And I think part of why you don't see 2 quarterback systems as much is, that second quarterback is normally your running back just playing the Wildcat. So that's part of it. Let's see here. I'm getting a few Harold Perkins questions. Harold Perkins has to start. He's our only shot at a monster linebacker room. We have a few electric linebackers now. Hopefully, he doesn't switch up on us. Okay, I don't know how much more I could disagree with this. Okay, so the first thing here, and Corey, I love you. I like the photo here of these. Are these hydraulic lifts? Okay. Number one is nobody has to start. Okay. Nobody. The only player on this team that unequivocally right now will be a starter is Kayshawn. Now you feel pretty good about Mason and BJ and all those other guys, but it's hard to actually say so and so is supposed to start or not. Now, what exactly does that mean? Do you absolutely have to start Harold Perkins? No, especially at a position like linebacker where there's a lot of rotation anyway. Um, the second thing is he is not the only shot at having a monster linebacker room. Okay? He's not. Aaron, what's good? Let's go. Aaron, you get to pick the next topic. But let me finish a few thoughts here on Harold Perkins. Uh, I think the second thing is, are we forgetting Mike Jones was a great linebacker at Clemson, and when he got the chance to play, he balled out. And obviously, you hear him in interviews now with Blake. He's a killer, right? This guy puts in the work. He has really high football IQ. Our defense got better towards the end of the year when we started playing him more. Okay. So that's the second thing. You have him. Micah Baskerville last year was fine. Okay. He was better than what he was the year before. And he is in a positive trajectory. And then you have Wes Weeks coming in, who's also a very talented linebacker. And need we forget about Demario Tolan, a true freshman? Very athletic sideline to sideline guy where the speed of the game is not going to overwhelm him. Also, Damon Clark, one of his favorite players on the team last year, was Greg Penn, who also played a lot as a true freshman. Now, it was with varying degrees of success because he was a true freshman, forced into a really difficult spot. And then, of course, you have some deeper cuts, Antoine Sampa, Josh White. And the third thing about Harold Perkins, as far as needing him to start, is he himself did not play much linebacker last year. Okay. Last year, Harold Perkins had 35 tackles total because, he mostly played running back. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve as far as what he's actually going to do next, right? So, I wouldn't go so far and say, well, Harold Perkins, he's not ready. He is physically ready. But you don't want him to start and, have to, learn an entire playbook and be the guy year one. Okay. What I think Perkins is going to do, Carvis, as always, Super Chat, I appreciate you. Perkins does allow us to run a 3-4 more. Perkins and BJ Ojolari at outside linebackers, Baskerville and Mike Jones in the middle, Greg Penn in the mix. Absolutely. So, guys, I got something bad I got to tell you. Got something stuck in my teeth. And I used to always go get some of this meat from a store that I would go to all the time. And I hadn't been there in like a few years. So Haley got the meat, grilled it, and I normally like it in like salad form. And that restaurant you would go to and their food would always be great. And then you move away and you go back to the restaurant, but the owner died, or it's under new ownership, or there's a new manager, or the cook named Ralph who worked there 30 years retired, and the food isn't the same. It could be your favorite restaurant, and they go to, what, crap. Happens all the time. So that's what happened to me tonight. I had the meat. It wasn't that good, and there's still a little piece like stuck between my teeth back here. And it's just making me sad. You guys are making me feel better because I'm such a foodie and I miss it. I miss it so much. But anyway, I just had to get that rain in. Perkins and BJ Ojolari at the outside linebacker spot. Baskerville and Mike Jones in the middle. Greg Penn in the mix. But yeah, I do think. Hey, what's up, Bruce? That's funny. Hey, Katie Joe, long time no talk. Good to see you. No topic. It's all love. Many of these high school recruits need to be eating some Cajun food and lifting to pop on some weight before they can really be starters. True, but Danny, depends on which athlete you're talking about, right? because we've seen other young superstars come to Louisiana and overeat and end up not really playing at all. Now, I'm not going to mention who that person may or may not be. He may or may not play this actual sport, but I do feel he's going to be back in shape and join that one Louisiana team. I'm not going to say his name. We don't even need to bring him up. But you guys see what I'm talking about. Oh, man. There he is. King Robert. He's in the house. Thank you for your super chat, King Roberto. Hit the like button. It goes a long way. Thank you so much, Treasurer PHL Big Al. Hit the like button. It goes a long way. It does. Subscribe to the channel if this is just your first time watching. Live chats are always the best. You know, I like doing heavily edited film studies and all that stuff, but I like to get to hang out with you guys. It's honestly the my favorite thing to do. It really is. It's a lot of fun. Notre Dame fan, since I was wearing diapers. That's okay. Just tired of Alabama having the best linebackers every year. The last relevant linebacker room LSU had was at championship caliber. Was 2019. Teams were scared of Clark, Caleb Queen. Once again, I don't think Alabama's had a better linebacker room than us. Last year, am I taking Damon Clark and Micah Baskerville over Christian Harris and whoever else? That's close. 2020, their linebackers were better than us. I'll give you that. 2019, we had better linebackers. 2018, any linebacker core with Devin White is going to be better than pretty much every other SEC linebacker core. So, yeah, we've always had good linebackers, but I get what you're saying, Corey. You want to make sure we have a deep room in order for us to beat and run the Madhouse defense. So let's see here. Reed is a Greg Penn believer. I like that. I love it. I also like that he wears that number 30 number. You guys know number 30, very important number for defensive LSU legends. It's a number Ron Landry wore. Who else wore number 30? I can't think of anyone like just right off the top of my head. But I like that. I do. Ron Landry wore 30, right? I was just looking at his card a minute ago. Still, I am a Greg Penn believer as well. Any news on how the Tyler Steen visit is going? Yeah, Bruce, his recruitment is very interesting, right? So Tyler Steen, the number one player of interest of LSU right now in the transfer portal, I think everybody wants him because everyone wants a starting offensive tackle. Now, what is it about Tyler Steen that makes him really fascinating? He's got a lot of starters experience at Vanderbilt, comes from a really good football family. And, for me, we need as many offensive tackles as we can get. Do I think he ends up signing with Alabama? I do. Now, I hope that's not true. I'm hearing a lot of Bama vibes head that way. I would be very not happy if that's the case because Bama has a bunch of 5-star offensive linemen waiting in the wings. We don't, right? And we do have Will Campbell, but I don't think anyone wants Will Campbell to start every game as a true freshman. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Throw it down for King Roberto, who also dropped a nice super chat before. Thank you so much, King Robert. We're with you during this fight, my brother. I know we had to reschedule our FaceTime. We need to do another one. We need to just do one tomorrow. But work me in around your schedule. Obviously, your schedule is the most important thing, and everyone's in your corner. So King Roberto wants to talk a little bit more about Tyler Steen. I am happy to talk about that. So, look, we had a long discussion about this, and I know Danny gave me her starting offensive line. I know Carvis gave me his starting offensive line, and yeah. So let's go through that again. Let's see. Feel free to chime in. I want right now everyone in the chat. I want you to type the names of the offensive linemen that you believe are surefire starters next year. Okay. All right. I want you right now to type the name of an offensive lineman you would say, with near certainty, you feel is going to start next year. Okay. Use your own film analysis, use your own logic, use whatever you want to use. Yeah, Robert, just shoot me a text. We'll work something out tomorrow. Dylan, what's good? Good to see you. Okay. Oh, we got two Delis. I didn't think Dellinger would be the first name that comes out. A lot of Deli love on here. I think Garrett Dellinger would be a fun NIL. If Deli's people want to work something out, I'm totally down. I want to see Deli on here. Oh, yes. 30 has been mostly a kicker number. So Josh Jasper wore 30. Drew Alamo. I forgot Drew Alamo. Eric Monroe. That transfer from FAU. I think I mean ETSU. Tremont Shorts. Oh, no, FAU. Miles Frazier. True. Pegasus says Martinez and Bradford. So type Y for yes, type N for no. How many of you like Carvis's offensive line here? Frazier, Shorts, Dellinger, Bradford, Wire. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Are you pleased with this offensive line going into next year? Spot on. Yes. And for normal guy. What's up, Tyler? I'm afraid if Nuss hits the portal, Tyler will never come back to this channel. He is such a big Nuss fan, and that's fine. Well, I don't want you to leave the channel. I'm just saying it's fine if you're a huge Nuss fan. Yeah, I think Steen starts for sure if he comes over. What's up, Dylan? New poll question is up, guys and gals. Yeah, that's a good point right here from Brett. You know, Brian Kelly just by default is going to make our offensive line better. Hopefully. Knock on wood. Is this wood? Yeah, it's wood. I'm an idiot. But yeah, I do think BK is going to help us out there. I think one thing that would be cool is if he came and got Quentin Nelson to speak to the team. I don't know if Quentin Nelson would do that. That would obviously help out a bunch. Oh, what's up, Trey? Tyler, I love it. He is digging his feet deeper into the mud. Nuss is not leaving. He is starting and winning the 2022 Heisman. I freaking love it. Huh? 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 Mm. Hmm? I'm just gonna let this comment just marinate. And this is a good profile photo of Tyler. Big smile, got the dog right there. Okay, so the follow-up comment is nothing short of incredible here. Anything is possible. Ha ha ha. I love it. That's not what I wanted. Oh no, this is what I wanted. Is Brian Kelly speaking to the team? Tell me this photo doesn't excite you. Let's go, BK. It's a good photo. LSU Sports released this earlier today. Let's go. If Sting goes to Bama, do you think a tackle from Bama will enter the portal? You know what, Kale's very interesting, right? So they have J.C. Latham. He'll probably start at guard or tackle for them next year. They obviously have to replace Evan Neal. I don't know how they feel about Tommy Brockermeyer, though. You know, he was a 5-star that LSU really wanted. And, you know, their recruitment of him really started to go sour because of the Rona. So yeah, you know, Brockermeyer and his brother, the Brockermeyer brothers enter the portal. I think Brian Kelly would happily pursue them. And, you know, he could get both of them if he wanted both of them because, you know, we have 3 slots remaining. And I think they would be worthy of 2 of those slots to at least, you know, take a chance on it. Teaching 101. You got to love it. But yeah, you know, for me, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know. Daniels is only staying 1 year, just like Miles would have. If he wins the job, Miles leaves and Nuss stays. Huh? Trey, actually, I do remember Trey commenting quite a few times how much he enjoyed the spring practice breakdowns that we would do. We would go as deep as we possibly could on those spring practice drills. I think of the Dave Chappelle meme of him scratching his neck. Now, if you are very on the internet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's how we are about LSU football footage. And I don't want our offseason to be so heavily spring practice based. So we're gonna do some like vintage Joe Burrow breakdowns if you guys are interested. We'll do some vintage breakdowns of some legendary LSU games of the modern era. I actually recorded this offseason. I never released it, a full like 2-hour breakdown of the LSU Auburn game from '07. You know, one of the most iconic games in Tiger Stadium history, if not the most iconic game in Tiger Stadium history. You know, Flynn to Bird, right? Give me some of that beautiful bean footage. So, see here. I'm very curious, what Magic Kelly will bring. Oh, look at that. So that's a halfie. Okay. All right. So it's a moment of truth right here.
Waddy?
Look at Waddy.
How's your chair?
Chair's great.
Okay. Can they see the baby? Call the baby.
The baby?
Oh my God.
So I want you guys to see this. Let me move this really quickly.
Call her, baby.
So this is how cool my job is. I call this a job. It's not a job.
Come here, Mama. Get Daddy.
So, Z baby.
I want everybody to see her new cut.
This is a cup that was made for me by Chris English.
Come here, baby.
You see Chris in here always commenting. I want to thank Chris for doing this. This is such a cool cup. And you got the tiger eye right here. That is so cool. I want to say thank you, Chris, for this. This is really cool. Oh man, this is the most frigid drink I think I've ever had in my life. Right here.
He's a baby.
And what's out of Z baby? She just got a cut today. Oh my God, Chris, this is as good a fluid I've ever had in my life. Man, that is excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you, man. I really do. They're not for sale. We might be able to work something out. So yeah, I just, you know, I know I spent a long time hyping up the cup. You have to admit that's a cool cup.
It's okay.
Yo, Carter, answer my question. That's a good way for me to not answer your question. I didn't see your question, Grayson. Once again, if you're sitting where I'm sitting, you get 1,000 questions at once.
Okay.
So, Grayson, if you ask again, I'm gonna try and get to it.
Everybody say hi to Z baby.
Obviously, if you super chat, I go straight to it. You know, because Z has to get her bills paid. But Grayson, I'll answer it. I'm sorry if I missed it. Let's see.
She's upset.
Carter outkicked this coverage. Look at that. Look at that.
He did.
I know. I mean, I'm very lucky to have Z in my life. I really am. She's ugly.
Who said Carter outkicked his coverage? Oh, wow.
Mark?
A lot of his friends say that, so.
Hugs all around.
Hey, Mick. Hello.
That's a high quality H2O. So anyway, I'm very curious what Magic Kelly will bring to LSU. What will it be like for LSU to have a fully competent coach for the first time since Saban? We shall see. All right. It's still crazy, you know. Obviously, with a little bit of revisionist history, it's still crazy to even think about Ed Orgeron and Les Ross.
What are you doing with Daddy?
What are you doing, Z?
She's right here. I see her.
Don't let her TT on my cards.
She's not bad.
Let's see here. Blanche believes Nuss is going to stick it out no matter what. I hope you're right about that.
Treat.
Let's go.
Come on, Sissy.
Z, stop.
She's just shaking, baby.
Yeah, but she's about to knock this thing over.
Come here, Mama.
Come on, I know you want to stay. Come here.
She's tired, baby. I'm going to put her in the bed. I'm going to go wash my face and get her in the bed. This room this weekend, project, okay?
Project.
Come on, how shaking? She's shaking. I don't know what that's about.
And I'm still ready. SNL SMP. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. You get to pick the next topic. Everyone loves some hey hey. Kyron Lacey. We don't hear a lot of Kyron Lacey chat here. It's going to be interesting, Reed, as far as that is concerned. I'll talk a little bit about him. We haven't spent a whole lot of time about him. SNL SMP, you get whatever topic you pick, we'll go straight to it. Thank you for your generosity. It really goes a long way. It's amazing. You know, thank you, Blanche. I really appreciate you. Herbert Sabrera, who super chatted earlier today, still wants me to go to an LSU baseball game. The game prep, lack of innovation, and the in-game decision-making by Miles and Coach O were bad a lot of the times. Yeah, it's true. I'm ready to see what that'll look like by Kelly. And it's funny, right? Because Ed actually coached really good games in 2017 and 2018, right? Of course, you had the Troy loss, but after that, things got really cleaned up. But, as far as an in-game manager is concerned, he just really fell off. 2019, Joe was so good it didn't matter who really was calling the shots. Now, it's not saying Ed had nothing to do with it. Ed had a lot to do with it. It's just, you don't have to make as much tactical decisions when your offense is scoring at will, right? Brian Kelly has a lot of experience in close games and high pressure situations, which LSU, quite frankly, is going to be in a lot of close games this year. And I still think the SEC is as good as it's ever been. So there you go. Let's see. $10 super sticker. Blanche, you get to pick the next topic. Go to Aaron. He super chatted a little bit earlier. Okay, Carter, with BK's ability to turn programs around and us as fans witnessing the most amazing season in college football, what's your realistic expectations of our squad going forward? I think this kind of goes along with Grayson's question. Look, the honest truth is when you pay a coach $10 million a year to coach at LSU, where, if you do a good job putting a fence around the state, you will aggregate a top 10 recruiting class every 4 years. And you have to have that level of talent to get to the playoff in the SEC. It's just truth, right? And I know a lot of us are going to say, well, stars don't really matter, which is true for individual players, but on a grand scale, they do matter, right? So Brian Kelly's able to aggregate a top 10 class every year. Well, guess what? He should have enough talent to obviously make a run at the college football playoff at least once every 3 years. I think that's a pretty fair level of what you should expect out of him. Nick Saban doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. Obviously, Lane Kiffin, we don't know what's going to be in his future. Pittman's a pretty solid coach. Texas A&M is recruiting better than us right now. I think that'll change. Hopefully it will. The SEC is more difficult, right? So I think you do have to factor that into the expectations. And look, Kirby Smart's really good. He finally, really has that train moving. And he has had that. But, his quarterback play and offensive play is just going to get better as time moves on. I think once every 3 years is a good expectation for a college football playoff. And if you want to be even softer on that, I think once every 4 years should be your expectation. Now, here's the thing. When you win a national championship, that changes. Then your expectation rises. But I think a playoff once every 3, once every 4 years is a baseline expectation. And that's really high with Alabama being in your conference. So in your division. Now, Aaron, obviously a lot of that's going to come down to a lot of that's going to come down to Aaron as well. What is the schedule going to look like? College football is the one sport we have in major American sports where your schedule is everything. It is 90% of who you are as a team, right? And how you compare to others is your schedule. That is not the case in any other sport where your schedule doesn't matter as much, right? You still have a realistic shot of getting into any playoff, no matter what division you're in, maybe outside of the NFL. But still, you still have a shot to get in, even if you suck just in your own division. Whereas in college football, you can't suck in your division and make the playoff, right? So, Aaron, obviously another thing that it's a wrench into the expectation question is, well, what do we do as far as how we view the team when this schedule becomes a 9-game conference schedule, which I think is inevitable once Texas and Oklahoma joins the SEC. Now, I'll get back into LSU stuff, but I do want to throw out just a little bit of a primer. If you like me, if you like the content that we do, I am launching here in roughly a month an all SEC channel where, we talk about Alabama, A&M, Ole Miss, because I get a lot of questions about, what do you think about Will Rogers? What do you think about Lane Kiffin? What do you think about Kirby Smart? And obviously, I keep it mostly LSU focus. That SEC channel is going to be more macro focus. Now, that's not going to change. We're not going to change anything we're doing here. But, it's just something new that I want to work on this off season. Let's go to Urban Sombrero's next super chat. Blanche is not a favorite to the 9-game schedule. Realistically, if BK doesn't become the first LSU head coach to win at least 2 national championships during his tenure, it'll be a disappointment. What are your thoughts? Okay, so it's a disappointment if he doesn't win one, right? It's a major disappointment if he doesn't get to a playoff, right? That is the ultimate failure if he doesn't get to a playoff. Now, if you get to the playoff, there's a lot of things that need to go in your favor, right? Do I think he's a failure if he doesn't win at least 2 national championships? I don't think that that's fair. I don't, for this reason. The SEC is just so much more difficult. And I know that's just an excuse, but it's just true, right? Jimbo Fisher did not exist in the SEC when Les Miles was around. Okay? He just didn't. Nick Saban wasn't Saban during the Miles tenure until later, right? Or actually midway through. It's hard. It's really hard to win a national championship. You saw how lucky Georgia had to get to even win the national championship that they just won. And that was a really wounded Saban team. That wasn't as talented. That was Saban's worst team since 2016. And they still almost won the title. It's really hard, right? And unless you see Saban just becoming a curmudgeon in the next 2 years and just falling off, then 2 national championships is a pretty big ask. It really is, because of how hard the SEC is right now. But I would agree with you. If he doesn't win at least one, it is a massive disappointment. I do. Simply because of the moniker when he came to this job, the last 3 national championship coaches all won titles, and the last 2, were Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. So, I think 2 is a big ask. 2 is a really big ask, right? Think about Georgia. That has been recruiting at a top 5 national level for close to a decade now. They just won their first. Oh my, you're gonna have to watch all the SEC games. That's a lot. I don't think I'm gonna watch all of them. I think I'll mostly just watch LSU, and I'll watch like little cut ups. There's no way you can watch every game, right? Something else about this, Blanche, and I'm glad you brought this up as far as like national championships in the playoff is concerned. I want to let you guys in on a little secret. The college football playoff committee doesn't watch most of the games. They don't even watch most of the games with the teams involved in the playoff. It is virtually impossible for them to do that. So I know that disappoints a lot of people because a lot of people view the college football playoff committee as a committee that watches the film and they're looking really closely at like every last little thing. It's not true. They don't do that. They don't do that. I wish they did, but they don't do that. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you. Herbert Zabrero follows up here. I worded it to say it'll be a disappointment because I believe that. I don't think he'd be a failure if he'd only won one, but I think it'll be a disappointment with how much talent he has access to. True. And this is the most talent he's ever had to work with. The issue, though, is, Jimbo's kind of figured out this Texas thing, NIL thing, whatever you want to call it. He's good. Jimbo's a really good coach. Now, once he learns that if he gives his play calling duties to someone else, I hope Jimbo is calling the plays for the rest of for the rest of eternity, right? I like this. Friday Night Lights show, mid-pin. Mid-pin. Lots of good discussion, though, tonight. Won't happen, Carter. Going out on a limb here. BK will bring 3 college football championships. 3. 3? LeBron voice. Not 1. Not 2. Did I mention in my Power Hour LSU cup, this is the coldest beverage I've ever drank? Think of that scene in The Water Boy when they take that blue little sphere out of that black bag. That's how cold this water is. It's the coldest water on earth. Except this isn't water. Look at Reed. Reed's agreeing. 3? Not 1. Not 2. But 3 looks. Has the selection committee reached out to you? You are a ringer. I would happily be on the college football playoff selection committee and do exactly what they all do. I honestly don't think that they watch as many games as we think that they do. I do think that they watch, and I do think that they take the job seriously. My point more so, Blanche, was it is unfeasible to watch every game, break down film because of the scope of college football. I think it would be more feasible to do that with the NFL, where you have a little bit more of a segmented schedule. You have more instant access to all 22. You have better reference points. I think that would be easier to do that. But college football, especially since the committee isn't just made up of just people paid to do this, it's made up of conference commissioners and whoever. Some are media members. It's a weird thing. The playoff committee is a very weird thing. Blanche said, sorry, I didn't mean ringer. I meant you are nerd. You called me a nerd. A nerd. Hopefully you meant that as a term of endearment. If you didn't, no big deal. You did super chat, so that's fine. But I'll tell you this. I am a nerd. I'm definitely a sports nerd, right? So it's kind of crazy. So you guys know one of our former guests, Van Lathan, right? So like he does like a ton of like these Marvel podcasts. He does a Ringiverse podcast. And it's ridiculous how much knowledge he has on like Batman, the Marvel universe, and just all these different topics. And I don't know how people keep up with all that. It's crazy. Like his mind is just so like crazy. Like he's able to obtain all this stuff. And, if it's not like sports related, like, I know a fair amount about like other subjects, but it's like I think we're all kind of like nerds with our own little things. I know, like nerds, like whenever you think the word nerd, you think of like a school kid or you think of like a comic book person. But honestly, I think sports is like one of the most nerdy things. It really is. Like, you know, how nerdy is it that a lot of us go to sporting events and we are wearing jerseys with numbers on them of other grown men? Like, that is as nerdy as it gets if you really think about it. And we pay hundreds of dollars to go to these stadiums just so we can cram in, not have service, and sit next to a bunch of strangers named Ralph who weigh over 500 pounds. But, it's and nothing against anyone named Ralph that weighs over 500 pounds. It's just, stadiums, you could be crammed into a space. You got to really be a nerd for sports to go to the games. Creek, hold it down in Shreveport. Ellis, you know what, Chris? You know what we should do? We should just go claim a bunch of national championships. It is kind of sucky though. Like, yeah, LSU. Look, I think the 2019 team deserves a little more credit for this reason. So many people looked down on our other two national championships because 03 USC was actually better. We had to share a national championship. And then 07 was you're the only two-loss national championship team. And then 11, we were actually dominant from start to finish, but we had the rematch. And we're so tired of hearing y'all complain about the rematch. That's why 19 really needed to happen. So I know we should feel spoiled with our 3 national championships, but I'm very happy 2019 happened because I always heard that from my friends that weren't LSU fans. They would say, well, you're the luckiest national champion of all time. Wear that number 7 with pride. I love it. You should wear. Here's my opinion. Okay, let me ask you this. Type Y for yes, type in for no, because it's actually a new thing right now where, with Fanatics, you can actually go buy a Jorey Jenkins jersey right now and he get a cut. So type Y for yes, type in for no. Is it acceptable for grown adults to wear jerseys? Okay, type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm curious. Are you appalled when you see another adult wear jerseys? Type Y for yes if you think it's okay. Of course, Urban says yes. Tommy says yes. Mick says no. Mick is fun police. Yes, 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 yes. Kurt says no. Kurt, not you, Kurt. Hey, Paris. So, we all know we love Paris, right? We just do. All right. Paris, the question is it acceptable for grown human beings? So let's say age 25 and older to wear jerseys. At A&M, we all wear the number 12 jersey, and I think that's the perfect happy medium. Really? Am I the only heterosexual here? I don't know what a heterosexual is, but you go on ahead. Huh? 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 No, they are to be played in. I like that, Brett. But here's the thing, Brett. If you were okay, here's the thing. Here's my issue with this, Brett. A lot of grown adults will say, okay, I need to go actually play football in my worn Sap jersey. And then you get a bunch of torn hamstrings and ligaments and people trying to relive their own old glory days. You know, one of my favorite avatars. I hope Aaron is still in here. Aaron, please comment so I could show your avatar again. His avatar is actually him playing high school football, and he was a record-setting high school quarterback. Comment of the night. At A&M, the number 12 stands for the ref because they needed the ref and all this goes on the field for A&M to beat LSU in 2018. Ah! We'll leave that perfect comment at that. That is so perfect. So everyone, look, that's Aaron. Oh man. Yes, sir. Everybody's favorite Falcons fan, Paul, is in here. What's up, Paul? So there's Aaron's photo right there. I love it. Now, do I love it as much as my new PHL cup? I don't know if I do. Not so funny, though. That 2018 game, man. Okay, there are a few times I've yelled the hardest as an LSU fan. Obviously, I think the most we have ever cursed in our lives as LSU fans. Let me put it this way. Okay. I think the game is kind of a fun question. The game that forced LSU fans to curse the most was 2010 Tennessee. Okay. So, like, 07 Arkansas, we did this question a few weeks ago. 07 Arkansas was just kind of like a really good back and forth game. And obviously Texas A&M was a very chaotic game itself. But as far as pure the number of people who normally don't curse but actually dropped a bunch of F-bombs, if we were rating that, 2010 Tennessee was, you know, we all cursed. We were all going, what the F is going on? Let's go, PHL fam. Johnny 5 and his lovely girlfriend, Gail. Tracy said, I'm an LSU fan. I'll wear whatever the heck I want. Brett, where's the PHL shirt story? I saw it earlier. Brett, drop it again. Please forgive me because you're one of the first people that got one. Please tell me. Please say it again, Brett. Forgive me for I have done wrong, Brett? Because I want to hear the PHL shirt story. But I think the Tennessee game was a game where, even the most Bible Belt people were like, what the F is going on? Scrappo! Sip, I think that's kind of hard to say. Let's see. I think the PHL shirt is one of my favorites. So once again, you get 2 PHL shirts. Boom. You're getting a Leonard Fournette card. Jersey card. He's worn this jersey before. But when you get a PHL shirt, we throw a bunch of cards in. And the next person that gets a PHL shirt, you're actually going to get an autographed LSU card. I got a really cool, if you are a diehard LSU football fan, you're going to really appreciate this guy. I just got a Derry Beckwith autograph card, and I'll send it. I'll give it out. I like Derry a lot, though. I'll send you an autographed Derry Beckwith card for the next person that gets a PHL shirt. Yeah, Creek is, it's tough. Mama's 95 years old and in a nursing home. Been tough. Being tough. She loves you. Being a good son right there. Shout out to all the super moms and super dads of PHL. Paris. I'm sorry, Coach K's finale didn't work out the way that you thought it was going to. I saw Fetty in here earlier, our candle guru. Yeah, Creek, Mick is in your corner. Oh, this is a great one. I wear a custom-made LSU jersey with my high school number and name on the back. I like that. I like that. There you go, Creek. Look, Aaron's in your corner as well. That's cool stuff. Ha ha ha. That's really cool stuff. I can see Paris getting emotional. Shane Battier being there. That was cool. Seeing Shane Battier. Burying my grandma on Valentine's Day. I hate that, Sip. Yeah, I hate that. Look at that, Creek. All these people coming out and supporting you, my brother. You got Aaron in your corner. You got Reed in your corner. You got Mick in your corner. You got Sib G. Look at that. Look at you, Creek. Creek hadn't been here a few weeks and people still love him. That's good stuff. It's good to see you, Creek. Oh, yeah. Guys going the wrong way. And yeah, Pegasus, I could see that as well because that Florida game, was so volatile, right? With the rescheduling and the hurry, it was just a mess. No, Urban Soprano, I appreciate you and Burgundy for supporting the channel. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes. So these are my notes when I was charting Jayden Daniels interceptions. And I wanted to show you this right here. So I write, I have really small handwriting. And I have another notepad with a bunch of notes. So what I do is I went through all 10 of his interceptions, and these were all just the base notes of it. And then I go back and rewatch them and go into more detail about what I think happened. So this is still here from the film study. The Jayden Daniels interception piece that we did on Wednesday. So, when I'm doing these deep statistical breakdowns, I have so many of these notes around here. Here's another one right here. I don't know if you guys find this boring or not. Let me see. This is on the back of a wedding invitation. I just grab whatever and start jotting stuff down. So this is there's some t-shirt orders on here. But this is actually from my Walker Howard deep dive that I'm working on for the summer. So these are just notes from that. This is me charting what I thought about some of the quarterbacks in the class. I won't say what these numbers mean because they'll give away the point of the video. That'll be a surprise. So there you go. I know it's like just totally boring. You don't want to see how the meat is grinded. Let's see, Blanche. Look at you. Okay, so we actually get to see what Blanche looks like. So Blanche, this is funny because for so long you had the photo of the celebrity. What is her name? That was Audrey Hepburn. No, that wasn't Audrey Hepburn. That was Mick knows who it is. Who was it? Prayers go out to Sip G. Sip, it's been a crazy year for you. Get a little one and you had the death in your family, man. It's funny how that happens, right? Like all these major, like it was Joan Crawford. Okay, it was Joan Crawford. So isn't that funny how that happens? Like you have all these major life events that just happen like in one big old like cluster, right? I see that happen all the time. I know Jared, you just went through this as well, where you see it happen all the time. You lose someone and then something else happens as well. Right? It's just amazing how all that happens. It was Joan Crawford. There you go. See, it's that memory right there. Remember Mick knew who that was. Dang, Pegasus, why would you oh my goodness. Dang, second time burying a grandma on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is overrated anyway, Sipji. We all know that, right? I've always thought Valentine's Day is overrated. It's just it's overrated. Baby is due in September. God, you see, man, your life is just an adventure. I love that, man. Love that. Oh, September. That's when the this is funny. That's right, Greek. We don't flip on our family. Our last name is Ricks. I'm gonna tell Jay Hill about this comment. That's good, man. Man, we have had some quick wit tonight. Urban Sombrero, that comment goes up there with your 12th man comment. I didn't think the 12th man comment would be overshadowed, but this is just that is just a thing of beauty right there. Our last names isn't Ricks. I'm going to give you a controversial opinion, though. And I'm just going to be honest, okay? I think what Jermaine Burton did was worse than Elias Ricks, right? It's one thing if you are going to join a super team to go try and win a ring if you haven't won one. It's another thing when you win a ring and you join the team that you just beat. That is still, I know why he did it. You want to catch passes from Bryce Young instead of Stetson Bennett. I don't know if I can mentally do that, though. I don't know. I don't know. Still, I don't condone. I'm for the transfer portal. Oh, well, I hope I don't a bird, her last name was Carter. I will say this, like Carter's a better last name than first name, right? There's so many famous Carters, right? How many first name Carters are out there? There's Carter Buford, the drummer of Dave Matthews Band. I don't know. I've never really looked that up. Like how many famous Carters are out there, first name. My little cousin's name's Carter. I like it. Can't get over that Elias Ricks comment. Max is worse. Love it. This has been a fun live. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a lot of fun. We've had King Robert in here. We had Danny in here. Got Sib G in here. Sib G is just, we're going through it together, man. Dwayne, Lil Wayne, Carter. Aaron's in this thing tonight. It's been fun. Minnesota Steve is back. Gotta love it. Minnesota Steve, who lives in, you live in Georgia, right? Or something like that. There's something about that name. God. Like the fragrance after the rain. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, Vince Carter. But see, once again, last name Carters, right? George Washington, that's Carver. June Carter, Coach Carter, Samuel Jackson. Yeah, in Georgia. That's right. Took the midnight train to Georgia. Wore my PHL shirt last Friday, was walking through High Neighbor, heard someone behind me yell, boom! I love it. That's what I love, Brett. Did you tell them about the channel? Did you say, look, the funnest YouTube channel of all time is this guy who just talks about LSU football for 2 hours in front of a bunch of LSU cards and a Jeremy Hill jersey. And you should tell him about the channel. Was that person Glenn Dorsey? If that person was Glenn Dorsey, tell Glenn Dorsey we need him on the channel. I'll tell you this, okay? I do have a funny Glenn Dorsey story, okay? And it happened on my birthday of all days. I will never share it until Glenn Dorsey's on this channel. Yeah, you see, Donovan? That's an old school. Or is that an old school song? I just remember hearing that in church. Like the fragrance after I don't know why. Because I don't know why that lyric always sticks out to me because rain does have a fragrance, right? Like, do you ever go into a town and you just miss how that town smells, right? There's a fragrance. Uh, it's such a weird thing. Like, it's such a weird lyric in that song too. Like the fragrance after the rain. It's such a weird, unique thing, right? Does rain really have fragrance? I guess it just depends. And fragrance in and of itself is such a complicated way of saying smell, right? Because when you think of the word smell, you don't think of something positive. You think, oh, that smells. You think of like a fart or something nasty. But when you hear the word fragrance, you think of blossoms, you think of butterflies, you think of Halle Berry, you think of whatever, you think of just magical things, right? Not smell. That thing smells. Like Sergeant Carter died of a massive heart attack at Shreveport. And SIP has me on 2 devices. I love it, man. So is it on the big screen and on a tablet or on a phone or what's your setup looking like, SIP G? The rain stunk in Arizona. 6 months of dead, dried up stuff gets rehydrated. What dead dried up stuff? What's dead in Arizona compared to is it are you talking about bodies or are you talking about roadkill? Phone and TV. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's cool. Always on TV and phone. I like it. It was an elderly lady. Huh? Donovan, that line is talking about the way rain has a distinctly good fragrance, just as the name of Jesus and distinct in its glory. Don't get me preaching. Dang, Donovan. I like that. Oh, man. Oh, Donovan. Okay, I'm starting to put it together. So Donovan, is obviously playing, guitar at a wedding here. I'm trying to remember if this was your wedding. I think you told me it was. But Donovan, you led church ministry or you lead church ministry, don't you? Oh man. So you guys know how people are that lead church ministry. Okay. The person that's normally like the best guitarist and lead singer of church ministry groups, they're either a really nice, low key, everyone loves them person, or it's on the total opposite end of the spectrum. That person is someone who everyone in the church secretly despises. There's no in between. There's no like, okay, the lead singer of the church group is just okay. It's either everyone likes him and he's a humble servant, or it's the other end where he's like, oh, if you grew up in the church, you know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, look, it's Carol. Yeah, you know the one that sings the high note on Amazing Grace. Yeah, it's Carol. She just thinks she can outsing everybody. We got another phone and TV person. That's good. That's good. Okay, so not music ministry. I've been in ministry my entire life. That's good. That's good, man. It's good. Everything is dead in Arizona, including the Cardinals' playoff chances after the first round. About time Charlie's active. What's up, Charlie? $20 waiting in crypto when you have some time for your lesson. I'm down for a crypto lesson. Yeah, we've discussed plenty of times on IG about this. Just hit me up, man. I'm down for a crypto $20 lesson. Some comment speculations here. Let's see. Big facts. Anything that goes to Arizona dies. Like the fragrance after the rain. Kings and kingdoms will all pass away. But there's something about that name. There you go, Donovan. Hire me for your next wedding. Now, something really cool. Yeah, so I get to DJ some weddings, and so what I do, like about a month before the wedding, I do a consultation call with the bride and groom, and like the wedding organizer. And there's something about weddings that are just so great, right? The one thing though, this is something, and tell me if I'm wrong about this. The only time that you'll ever see me mad at a wedding is number one, if the food isn't good. The food's got to be good at every wedding, right? If not, call your attorneys. This marriage isn't going to work out. Food's got to be good at every wedding. Okay. The number two thing is it should be against the law. Like you should be thrown into prison if you propose at someone else's wedding. Never do that. Don't do that. I'm dead serious. Never. Don't even think about it. I was at one of my friends' preschool wedding. One of my friends from preschool got married. And someone proposed at their wedding. It was a complete surprise. They're like, hey, this event that these people paid $20,000 to have, the only day on this planet Earth where all the attention in the world should be on them, I'm going to make it about our relationship. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to make it a spectacle. And they did it right in the middle of the dance floor during Shout. So they did it during an epic song. If I remember correctly, the part, a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now. He got on a knee and put the ring out. I was like, are you kidding me? Out of all the times, you couldn't do it during some other song that's not as great as one of the greatest songs ever made? You never do that. Super sticker for Creek. We'll go to Sip G. Who do you think starts at all the defensive back positions? Let's go through it. So I think Jarek Bernard-Converse has a pretty good shot of starting at one of the traditional corners. I also think Jay Ward is going to move to one of those other corner positions. I think it was pretty clear that he was playing out of position, and the tackling was just bad last year. And I think everyone would agree that he's better off playing corner. As far as the nickel is concerned, I think Sage Ryan does win that job unless they try and make him a safety so they can put someone else at nickel, and that potentially be Greg Brooks. I also think Joe Big Play Fuchsia has a really good shot of starting next year as one of the safeties. So that's what I would go with right now. I know someone earlier said Mekhi Gardner is a little overrated. I don't know. I haven't really sat and watched him too much. But yeah, I think that's what your defensive backfield's going to look like. Now, obviously, there's some very interesting names in there, such as Pig Cage and Darius Jones, uh, and obviously, you know, with Terrence Welsh coming in, and then of course you have Matthew Langlois, Derek Davis, and so on and so on. So you got some interesting names in there. We'll see what happens. I think that's what happened though. Like he got down on one knee during the shot. All I'm vividly remembering is the guy proposing to the girl. And of course, the bride and groom can't get disappointed. They got to be like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." Really? I was so mad. My mom was also at the wedding and she saw me storm out. It just drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. Yeah, Creek, it gets to the point now where you can only watch so many you can only watch the 2019 game so many times over, right? Let's go to Donovan here. There you go, Jared. Jared sent me some Bitcoin. Charlie, look at that. Jared sent me some BTC, baby. Let's go. I'm down with some BTC. Still wish they moved Ricks to the slot and put Sting and McLaughlin on the outsides. It would have been crazy. Donovan, I disagree with you here because it wouldn't have mattered. Because our defense was running man coverage on every snap. 2-man under, 2-man free, whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't have mattered if I'm dead serious. It wouldn't have mattered if you had Jalen Ramsey, Darrelle Revis, and Champ Bailey out there. They can't run man coverage on every snap if the quarterback knows what play they're going to run. That's why quarterbacks destroyed us. That's why pretty much every quarterback on the schedule played their best game versus us. The only one who didn't was Will Rogers, and that was when we switched up the defense, of course, before the Alabama switch. DTR played his best game. Will Levis played his best game. Bo Nix played his best game. You can't run the same play every time. And look, that will still be the biggest mystery of all time. If I ever see Durante Jones, I want to ask him. I just want to be honest with him and be like, why did we do this? It is still the most bizarre thing I have ever seen, right? A multi-million-dollar operation. You're walking into an erupting volcano if you do that, right? Like, even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't just go down the court every time and do a skyhook, right? You can't do the same thing every time in any sport. You just can't, right? You know, the only person that's ever worked for is Mariano Rivera in the cut fastball. But even then, he would, mix up the location. Donovan with another super chat. Boom. Let's go. Agreed. I say that also wishing we would have had some competent leadership by that. I mean, I wish Durante would have had control of the D. I agree with that. And I'm also happy Durante landed it on his feet back in the NFL. Happy for him. I think Durante was fine last year. We were better than what we were the year before. I think that has a lot to do as well with Blake Baker and Andre Carter. I think they both had first year really good impacts. In particular, Blake Baker getting Baskerville and Clark to the next level. So that's really good stuff. And I think, Blake is a big loss for us. PHL visors and hats. Yeah, currently working on, the next merch project, right? So it looks as if a lot of you kind of like these. So I might work something out with Chris to sell some of these. I'm not gonna lie, this is like one of my favorite ones I've ever had. I'm not BSing you because it's thinner, and I have Joe Burrow's smaller hands, right? So a lot of these are like thick, where it's just like it's small and then like huge right up here. PHL undies. Yeah. That's something that everyone's significant other wants to see. My face on rear ends. That is exactly what people want. Give the people what they want. Good night, Mick. Is Mick's going to sleep? Night, Mick. See you Saturday night. Oh, yeah, we're going to have brackets out next week. All right, guys. We are approaching 2 hours. And as we always do as we approach 2 hours, we get to as many questions as we possibly can. Of course, if you super chat, we keep going all night. Johnny 5, PHL snapbacks, and hoodies. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait till the fall for the hoodies because, the weather is getting warmer. But I know we have some northern viewers, but the weather's still going to be cold for quite some time. Yeah, Aaron, we touched on this a little bit earlier. Once again, you guys can ask any question. I'll answer it the best I can. MLB lockout is over. Congrats. I still think baseball games should be 7 innings long, and starters shouldn't be allowed to pitch more than 5 innings. I think baseball needs to be shorter. I think they should do that at the college level. I also think college baseball only having 11.7 scholarships is still the craziest thing in Division I sports. Now, as far as MLB lockout being over, this is a good thing. It's a good thing. I could care less about baseball, but I was kind of ready for the story to get out of the news. But yeah. Carter, did you watch the Real Madrid game? I only saw Kylian Mbappe's first goal. I didn't see what happened after that. I know Karim Benzema and Vinny Jr. are having really good seasons. I just started watching Vinny Jr. He could really play. Let's see. But yeah, I'm happy for Liverpool. We were able to survive against Inter Milan, and we're able to move on to the next round. And that's all I care about. I like the other teams. Obviously, with what's happening with Chelsea right now with Roman Abramovich is actually, the biggest story in soccer right now. It's one of the biggest stories in the history of the sport, right? Yeah, the one owner who changed the sport forever. I remember when Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea, and he just changed everything you could even think about with the Premier League. It was seismic, and it's what led to Manchester City being what they are now. Jared Small, you sent me a Cash App. Let me see. I'll happily talk about Jared Small. Oh, good. It just went through. Perfect. Okay, so as far as Jared Small is concerned, Detson, thank you for the super chat. Also, love the updated avatar. I think Jared Small is going to be a part of the team next year. Obviously, he was able to take a medical red shirt, and he's got another year of eligibility left. Maybe potentially, I would guess 2. I don't know fully how eligibility works. But yeah, I like Jared Small a lot. I love his story last year, working his way up the ladder, being a former walk-on. Obviously, you always cheer for guys from Baton Rouge. You always cheer for 3 stars, guys that grow up, living the dream, potentially playing for LSU football. And last year, you would have never have even thought, you know, even in 2020, that Jared Small could potentially be a starter in 2021. And you would see him in spring practice, Desmond, at the front of like uh any workout line. You could tell he was putting the work in. And look, he's a good friend of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you wish him nothing but the best. Now, as far as him playing next season, we'll see. As much as we talked about earlier, Harold Perkins and the linebacker depth, you still don't know who those guys are going to be. And this is something that you have to keep in mind. All right. And it's very, very, very important. All right. We normally think of really good players as guys that are able to keep their job next year. We normally think that. But the truth of the matter is, in sports, only truly transcendent players, all conference, all American level players, are really guaranteed playing time for the following year. So take someone like Micah Baskerville, for instance, who is a really, really good football player for us last year, who also played a lot in 2020. He was really good, but was he so good that no one can't overtake him? That's not true. Someone can overtake him, right? That doesn't mean he's not good. That doesn't mean I don't think he's going to start. I think he's going to start. I'm pretty confident he's going to start. But guys like Jared Small could work their way onto the field, right? So I go back to this. Kayshawn is the only guy I can 110% say he is for sure going to catch 50 passes. He is for sure going to get 70, 80% snap share, if not more. So, as far as Jared Small getting a chance to play next year, he very well could. He very well could, especially with the new linebacker coach who's going to do something different than the last guy did. We'll see. Had to miss the game today, but boot up. I think we were pretty confident LSU was going to take care of business. Tomorrow versus them Hogs, though, should be an interesting game. Obviously, last year, LSU and Arkansas played in the SEC tournament. Arkansas was a pretty heavy favorite, if I remember correctly. I think they were a 5-point or so favorite. What's very interesting about that is earlier this year, LSU was a 6-point favorite versus Arkansas, and they won on our home floor with an interim coach. And then just a few weeks ago, Arkansas was the hottest team in the country, and we almost beat them. In fact, we should have beat them on their home floor. And Arkansas is a 6-point favorite. So while Arkansas is probably going to be same thing, a 5 or 6-point favorite tomorrow, this game oftentimes doesn't go the way that you expect it to. In fact, you've seen a lot of upsets. What is an upset? You've seen a lot of upsets in this matchup over the past couple of weeks. So, you could very well see a scenario where LSU finds a way to get it done tomorrow. Peace and love, PHLers. Have a blessed night. Let's go. What's up, Ray? Sony Fanua, Todd Harris. They'll both be back next season unless they transfer. So what you're saying is bet the spread against LSU versus Arkansas. Let me pull it up to see if there is a line out there right now. Thank you, Desmond, for the Cash App. Every time Desmond watches, he Cash Apps me, and I really do appreciate you so much because that goes straight into the bank account, and it obviously helps me feed the family. And Vanderbilt is about to beat Alabama. Are you kidding me? Does Vanderbilt have a chance to get in the tournament? No, they're 16-15. I guess, they have to win out. Is Bama for sure getting in the tournament? Yeah, they probably will because they beat Gonzaga earlier this year. It's probably too good of a win to not include them at 19-12. I don't see a line for LSU Arkansas on my app yet. But I still go back to this as far as, the battle of the Golden Boot, right? It's not really a rivalry, but it should be. Like LSU and Arkansas have a lot in common, right? They're both located in a very inconvenient location for the entire state, but at the same time, they control their entire state when it comes to college athletics. Also, they both don't have a serious rival. So, Arkansas cares more about LSU than vice versa. And, it kind of sucks. But the LSU Arkansas game has always been a fun basketball matchup since, we're both basically the same program, right? We've had some success, but we're not known for that per se. Actually, I take that back. Arkansas is known for basketball. Those Nolan Richardson teams were iconic in the mid-90s, but still, we'll see. Whew. We talked a lot tonight. We talked about wedding etiquette. We went through grief together. Shout out to Yusuf G. Shout out to King Robert still fighting the evil sea. Shout out to King Robert once again for being our top super chatter. He's probably won that title probably over 50 times now. I really do appreciate him so much. I appreciate each and every one of you so much for all your generous super chats. Desmond, big time, and as always with those cash apps. Jared, Addison, man, you're just phenomenal. And Urban Sombrero, a friend of mine, all the way back from college. It's been fun. Carvis was in here earlier. Danny was in here earlier. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Power Hour. LSU. Boom. We'll see ya Saturday night. And I am still hungry because I told you earlier about my dinner. Tonight, I guess I'm just going to have to eat a protein bar. I know. I normally go like, let's go. But I mean, that's just, and it wasn't my fault. It wasn't Haley's fault. It's just, it happens. So yeah, and go Tigers. Let's go. Let's go.